Wow, the NFL season has gone absolutely buck wild in the offseason, huh? Let's break that down for a second. I'm Cole Johnson. This is Cole Sports on the Daily, where we do fresh hot takes every weekday. Well, it's Monday. Actually, most of this week will be the end of March, the third month of 2022. Man, the time is flying by. And so has the NFL offseason. So we've been 6 weeks into it. Well, 6 weeks to offseason, 2 weeks into the free agency / New Year period for the NFL. And oh my gosh, the action that has been unveiling has been ridiculous. I mean, just name it. Uh, Matt Ryan to the Colts, uh, Marcus Mariota to the Falcons, Carson Wentz to the Commanders, Khalil Mack to the Chargers. I mean, there have been so many moves. Randy Gregory with the Chargers, Broncos. I mean, there's just been so many moves in this offseason that it's just made your head spin. I'm gonna focus on a few that basically lets us know what we're in for the new season, both in the recent, or just in the near future and the distant future. And we're going to put these categorical people on the list. So let's start with Devante Adams. Now, as you see, he's pictured with that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. And it was necessitated by Rodgers' big-time deal of getting $150 million guaranteed, which was at the time the biggest guarantee in the history of the NFL. But there was a little bit of trouble in paradise, so to speak, when Devante Adams went into this past year with no contract. And I guess you could say dissension between the front office and himself. Well, they didn't right the ship. They were going to put him on franchise tag, and Devante basically said, no, you ain't gonna put me on franchise tag. I'm not gonna play with it. So what did he decide to do after this man signed his deal to be the man in Green Bay? Devante decided to say, I got to go. I got to get up on out of here. I got to get up out the paint. And where did he decide to go? Well, he decided to go to his franchise love when he was a child. He grew up in East Palo Alto, California. For those who don't know, that is near the Bay Area. In fact, it's about roughly an hour-ish, a little less than an hour-ish or so from the Oakland, which was the Oakland Raiders at the time, and San Francisco area. Now, of course, the Raiders are in Las Vegas, and that is where Devante calls his new home. He is now a Las Vegas Raider, where now he is a proud owner of a 5-year, $141 million contract. And it was that particular contract which sparked the next one, the next move to happen, which would be Tyreek Hill. Now, he was happy being a Chief. He was getting his touches. He was getting his love. But the problem was the Chiefs saw off in the distance. They said, uh-oh, we've been successful, and now Patrick Mahomes is going to be the highest paid player in the game. He is now the proud owner of a 10-year, $500 million contract with $140 million guaranteed. There's going to be less money guaranteed to the rest of the players. And the Chiefs already understood by around now, year 3 and 4 after that deal was signed, that they were going to have to let go of some talent. Unfortunately, Mr. Hill was one of those casualties where they had to let go. Now, this was not an indictment against his talent. I don't think there was any friction between Hill and the front office. The Chiefs front office liked him. The Chiefs coaching staff liked him. So it wasn't anything of that nature. It was basically finances. He wanted more than the Chiefs were willing to pay. The Chiefs said, well, we can't do it, but I know a team which can, and it happens to be the Dolphins, who now they have a pretty stout defense. They have a couple of new running backs in their system. And now they have Tyreek Hill to go along with a growing Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. That team isn't fully completed, but they're on their way up, it looks like. As for the Chiefs, it looks like they're going to have to adjust now that they signed Valdez Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster. They're tweaking things now. They're wanting to go, I think, a different route. And I think we're going to see less RPO and probably a little more traditional offense with the Chiefs. As with the Dolphins, I think we're going to see some more power game, but mixed in with a little bit of running because you got Hill on one side and Wall on the other side. They want to beat you deep, and they want to beat you with speed. So that offense for the Dolphins is going to be just a tad bit different. Now, rumors were saying that it was going to be even more different because this offseason move really shocked people. Now, this man was going to retire, and he had it already there and almost there. He committed to it around early February. He had about 6 weeks of it and said, nah, this retirement mess is not for me. And back on the field he goes for his 23rd season, his third with the Buccaneers, or is it? Rumors are having it that he actually might want to force a trade from Tampa to go further south, and he might want to take his talents down to South Beach. I don't really see it that way. In my personal opinion, I think Brady is going to stay with the Bucs. He's there, and I think he will feel even more secure if someone like, say, let me think, a Rob Gronkowski were to sign with them again. So if he were to have that, I think that's there. And the team is pretty stacked and stout, and they really like working with Tom and Forum because they feel as though they are championship quality material, which they are. A team that felt as though, just like the Bucs, they were one quarterback away. That would be Russell Wilson. And one of my VIPs went absolutely ham because he's a Seahawks fan, and he actually poor Rich. One of my favorite VIPs said, quote, Russell Wilson is a traitor. How dare he go from the Seahawks to the Broncos? Close quote. And I had to tell Richard, see, sir, this is why he went to the Broncos. Ever since the Legion of Boom days were over, the team went on a decline, and we couldn't see it because Wilson was keeping that ship afloat. The problem was the talent was getting thinner and thinner and thinner to the point where he has been the most sacked quarterback in the last 5 years. So he was seeing that. He was seeing that the front office wasn't listening to his demands. So the handwriting was on the wall, and he was like, I can't rock with this. I got to go elsewhere. And they believe, the Broncos, they are one quarterback away. The defense is young and getting good. Their offense is getting stronger. They have some talents. I mean, Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton for wide receivers, Melvin Gordon in the backfield. So they have some talent. The offensive line, to me, which was a problem with the Seahawks, is going to be a bit of a problem with the Broncos for him too. What shouldn't be a problem on the field, Deshaun Watson. He wanted out of Houston ever since January of last year. He now has gotten his way in which he now is no longer a Texan. He is not in Houston any longer. He now is a Cleveland Brown. And this was a shock because it was the Falcons, the Saints, and the Panthers who were in the running. And they actually said that the Browns were out of the running earlier that week. Was out of the running, but peculiar signs came from the quarterback at the time, who was the starter in Baker Mayfield, giving a peculiar thank you message to the city of Cleveland. And that was 2 days before, surprise, a 5-year, $230 million guaranteed contract 2-1, Mr. Watson. Now, on the field, the talent is undeniable. Unfortunately, it's off the field that we have the issues. And because he was able to move and there was going to be no criminal charges brought upon him from not one, but two grand juries down in Texas, people were up in arms about the fact that he got that contract. Talent over morality. Well, let's see how things play out in the court of law. Now, I will go on record as saying this young man put himself in the position to unfortunately have what happened to him. The good news, though, is he has a good amount of chance to right the ship. And what we've seen of Deshaun so far is a pretty good dude. So I pray and I hope that basically this was nothing more than just wrong man in the wrong place at the wrong time, wanting these services that he should not have asked for too many people in the wrong places. Then I pray he learned his lesson and he can move onward. That's at best. At worst, we might be talking about a guy who people are going to have to look weary of and leery of and say, I don't know if I can deal with him. But that's for a time and a place and another time and another point in juncture. For now, the Browns are saying this is their guy. They're sticking with him. They're loving him. And hopefully this will be the guy that they want to have take them to a place that this team has never been since its inception of the game, and take it to a championship that they have not won since 1964. The Cleveland Browns have not had a quarterback this talented since Bernie Kosar, and we're talking what, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35 years ago. So chances are that the hopes are high for one Mr. Watson and for the Browns. We'll see if it all pays out. We'll see if all of these free agency moves / trades / retirement / resignings all pay off. Because this was, I guess you could say, a way to mitigate the lack of talent that is going to be in the draft. It will be rich with a whole lot of offensive and defensive linemen, but the skill position players, maybe some wide receivers, but not so much. And that's why we had this active offseason this year. Also, the team that won the Super Bowl basically did the all-in thing. And you have more teams who are saying, well, it worked for the Rams. It should work for us. That's the list. Well, that's what I believe. What do you think? Like this video and share it all throughout your social media community. Comment below because I want to hear what you have to say. And don't forget, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell to get any and all content that emanates from here. And for all of us here at Cole Sports, I'm Cole Johnson. And thank you for tuning in to another installment of Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily. Tune in tomorrow. Someone is tone deaf.